Hi, I'm Randy Vance. I'm the editor at large for Saltwater Sportsman, Sport Fishing Magazine, and Boating Magazine. I'm with the guys from Gatorbak, Jonathan Van Meter and Damon Bryngelson. We're going to talk about this unique product that you guys have developed for trailer bunks, hoist bunks, and all things for moving and storing boats. Give us a quick rundown on what your key product is.
Randy, our key product is going to be our standard Gatorbak XP bunks. It's our newest in the series, and it's rated for use with all hulls, whether it be gel coat, fiberglass, aluminum, painted bottom, any of the above, and it will be used within all of the cradles, lifts, and trailer bunks.
So the material, now you guys have sent some for me, and I've changed out my trailer bunks. It's tough, resilient. Putting a screw through it with a power driver took some practice, but it also gave me quite a lot of confidence that it's going to hang in there. Tell me about that material.
Well, it's a proprietary material that we've been working on for quite a few years, testing everything else. We've up to about our 8th generation of the material that we use now, specifically designed for fiberglass boats, not only aluminum and pontoons, but this is soft enough to absorb and cushion a fiberglass boat without scratching, and also the ribs are high enough to wash away sand, debris, and have a dry hull within a couple minutes after unloading up your boat and pulling away.
Most boat trailers are covered with carpet. What's the disadvantage there?
Well, Randy, I think the biggest key disadvantage there is a carpet will trap and hold debris over time, turning it almost into sandpaper. What you're going to find with Gatorbak is we don't have that. We're easily cleanable and easily maintainable. It lasts longer. We're more UV stable and things like that. So the disadvantages between carpet and that are that carpet holds water, trash, and debris against your hull. Gatorbak just simply won't.
Some of the guys that have boats similar to mine have shown where carpeted bunks have abraded the bottom of their boat. And, I don't know what kind of loading conditions that they're working on. This stuff, the thing that I saw as an advantage, you already mentioned, and that's the fact that there's no dry time to it. I don't like the fact, even on a fiberglass boat, that saltwater carpet bunk is up against my boat all the time, because salt's corrosive even on some parts of your boat finish. I've seen places where they stain and water spot it. And just to me, the first benefit that I saw right off was eliminating that standing water under your boat.
That is a big advantage of the ribbed profile that we use for Gatorbak, is it allows all the moisture and everything underneath to dry. There again, with the UV protectant and the antifungal materials that it's made out of, it helps in environments like Florida or Arizona, or up here where I'm at in Minnesota. It's you can use it pretty much anywhere.
Now, you mentioned antifungal. Is there a treatment in it, or is it just the nature of the material that makes it antifungal?
We've been doing some testing on that too. So there is an additive put in there along with the UV that is into our material that prevents moss or algae buildup on these bunks.
Gatorbak not only sheds the water between the boat and the bunk, the water around the bunk board itself, increasing the lifespan of the boat bunk in its entirety. So you're going to have a better boat bunk, you're going to have a better hull, and those are the benefits, the biggest number one benefits to it as well. It stops blistering, it stops the corrosion with aluminum, and it stops the invasive species. They're easily washed down. So when you're not transferring water from one waterway to the next, a lot of anglers and even sport boating people who ski and stuff like that, they're going from body of water to body of water. It's getting very important in the United States with that. There are major efforts out there with a lot of the wildlife commissions to really take aggressive stances against invasive species. But far beyond just invasive species, preventing damage is absolutely, a number one attribute, because damages hull blistering can range $6,000 to $8,000 per hull, and that's on your average 20 to 21 foot boat. it would be horrible if you had a much bigger boat and had the same issue. So, but that's one of the keys that we try to go is one of our key takeaways.
Do both of you guys have boats?
I do.
I do.
I have boats.
When was the first time you used this material on your boat?
First time I made the bunks. We got our own design, the Gatorbak, and obviously I'm going to test out on my boat first, and that's what I did, and I got a good feel for it, and knew what I had to make changes on and what I had to improve on. So every time we do a change with materials or whatever, I'm putting it right back on my trailer and running it.
The first time I got to see Gatorbak was before I actually came to work at Gatorbak. And the best part of that for me was, from a customer standpoint, I could recognize easily that they were onto something. I happened to be in the market for a new job at the same time, and looking at what the layout was, I thought maybe it'd be an advantage if I reached out and spoke with them, and maybe we could team up to work together to bring Gatorbak, more into the light, to the masses, as it were. So, and we've been very happily moving towards those goals ever since then.
Do you guys have any boat trailer manufacturers or boat companies that are using your product as standard equipment or as an option from the factory? There
are some manufacturers that are using it from the OEM standpoint for each trailer. A lot of that's just coming on. We're going to have a few manufacturers this year, large manufacturers, that are going to be added to the list, where it's going to be partial solution for some of their boats and options on some of their other models. Can't really release a lot of information until things get solidified, of course. But yes, we do have OEMs. We have trailer manufacturers that are OEMs, and we have trailer manufacturers that are they have the trailer manufacturers that have the option.
Damon, when you first put the Gatorbak bunk covers on your trailer, what was your first observation?
Wow. I think we're onto something. The loading, the biggest thing too is when you pull out, how everything just washes off it. I mean, up here in Minnesota, in southern Minnesota, sometimes you get into some lakes that are pretty green, have a lot of vegetation, and to pull out of something and everything just runs right off of your bunks. It's so clean and so, I mean, we knew we were onto something right there. I mean, and then we just have to advance it, just keep moving forward with it. But yeah, the loadability, how clean it is, for the environment and everything else. I mean, that was probably the biggest thing that I thought was really onto something with how everything just ran off it.
Now, have you guys had any government agencies? You mentioned California is really tough on invasive species transfer from boat trailers. Have you had any discussions with them out there?
For government agencies, we do currently have a couple contracts with boat repair centers that service contracts under the government, and they are currently switching a lot of boats over to Gatorbak. The first couple years we did that, it was actually major scale. I mean, we were sending quite a bit of material to those guys now that they've gotten a lot of those fleets done. And that you're going to find that we have a few agencies, DNR and stuff like that are using it because obviously it's a much better product. It's lower maintenance for them, so it makes more difference to them. But I mean, you'll find it on U.S. Navy boats. You'll find it on Coast Guard boats, and you're going to find it on, Fish and Wildlife boats around the country. Probably, I think, Damon, if I'm not mistaken, I think we had 10 states that were using it, starting to integrate that into their solutions.
10 or 11, I know there's a couple more that are testing it, as we speak right now, that are testing it. So
the actual process of loading the boat, Damon, how does that feel compared to carpet?
It's very similar. It is. But once you load that, you get your bunks wet and you pull it out a little bit to where you're comfortable, you'll feel that it slides on a lot like carpet, only a little bit better. I don't know how to explain it even, it's just a smoother slide on. And then the nice thing about it is once you pull out and all the water runs off, that stuff grips, so you don't have to worry about it being slick going down the road or anything like that either.
a lot of places don't like power loading. So one of the things that I noticed is that the boat just sort of seems to slide right up to the eye there without any additional power. That kind of solves the problem for boaters, doesn't it?
It does. There's one of the states up here too actually bans power loading. Now, the term power loading, how do you how do you say power loading is? Everybody knows what power loading is, and what we tell people is you don't have to rev your engine. You can bring it up, get your bunks wet, and you can bring it up and have a nice, easy, steady RPM, and it'll load right up. You don't have to rev it up to do that. So
now, if you're going to winch it up, say you got 3 or 4 feet to winch it up, will you find that an easier process as well?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yep.
The key is that when it's in the water, it's slick. The chemical composition of our material, which, of course, is proprietary, but the chemical composition of it creates a lubricant film with the water around it. And that's what makes the boat load easier. After you get it up out of the water and the water's gone, now you're sitting on that soft synthetic. Now it grips and holds your boat. You're going down the road, so it's not sliding around in the bunks. It's not dangerous. And that vibration gets canceled out. That's a big part. Most damage from trailering boats comes from road vibration. Yeah, it's the rubbing while it's going down the road. Our product stops that altogether. We grip and hold the boat on the trailer.
A lot of guys will back their boat into the water. They'll disconnect it before they back it in. Would you still feel comfortable doing that with this before it was wet?
You're going to find a comfort zone with that as well too. I mean, loading and unloading, but you are going to find that it's so much better. I mean, but you will find it'll take you probably a couple of loads, unloads to really find that balance.
I appreciate the fact that you guys sent the product to me to try, and it took me not very long, actually. I would say probably the biggest trick to getting the bunks covered was getting them uncovered, and then I painted them because I wanted to have a consistent look. They were unpainted underneath. After that, screwing them on and fitting them to the end caps and everything wasn't very hard. Anybody with an electric screwdriver could do it in probably 3 hours at the most. But once I got it on, and looked at it, I think this is going to be really good for my boat. When we took it down to the ramp, my wife is the one that's always driving the boat on the ramp. And I kind of warned her to come in a little bit soft on this one because I thought it was going to be an easier landing. And she's never missed the center of the target, and it did slide on really nice. Then, because we were just testing it out anyway, I pulled it out after I winched up the last few inches. I pulled it out and then backed it back in and disconnected. And she was able to just kind of pop it with the throttle once and slide it off. So I like that, the way it works so much better than the carpet.
Normally what you would do with carpet or any other bunk is you're going to back down, floats off of the trailer. And I think you'll find that on this too.
Back down and what?
You'll back down, the boat will float off the trailer. I mean, it doesn't. Yeah. It's not like sticky fingers or something like that. It doesn't literally grip the boat, like it's holding on. So you won't have to pop it off the bunks. But to say that you popped it off the bunks, I bet half of our customers have that experience, and it's not really your boat. It's not really your trailer. It's not even our covers. It's the ramps.
Mm-hmm.
The ramp, some ramps are steep, some are shallow, and some are right, and we deal with all of them, and our customers, a lot of our bass fishermen are the biggest ones to report back about different ramps and how they've experienced loading on different ramps. And they know right away, okay, this is this way, this is this way. It looks like my rear axle's getting wet today because I got to put that trailer in the water. You can't load on a shallow ramp with anything.
I have 2 different dimension bunks on mine. I have some 2x6s standing up on edge and 2x6s laying flat. What different dimensions do you make?
We'd go everywhere from 1/2 inch all the way up to 2x12s.
Really? 1/2 inch thick bunks? I guess that would be a really small.
Half inch wide.
Yeah.
Up to a 2x12 wide. It's amazing how many things are out there that we've got them in 1/2 inch increments too. So we've got them where they fit tubing and channel and all your wood sizes. If it's out there, we have it.
Any standard lumber that you can put on a boat trailer, we have a cover for it. And that does include the large beams too. That's one of our biggest sellers. Probably one of our top 3 is the large beam bunk covers, the GB7. This is a multi-fit cover that fits any of those vertical beams that are 3 or 4 wide, 8 or 9 inches deep, for like your large trailers.
Consoles.
That's a right a lot of center consoles. But that's a unique design that Gatorbak, I believe we're the only one that has anything similar to it. And it basically wraps the top end of those large beams. It's a flexible fit, so it fits any profile and size. And then you're off to the races. You got a Gatorbak XP cover to put underneath your boat, just like any other.
Now, you guys make LED lights to go under these clear bunk covers. Tell me about those.
When we come up with the lighted bunks, it was, hey, these are really cool. Like, you don't have to have lighted bunks, but why wouldn't you want them?
Right.
Because they're so cool. But you know what? We're starting to find that is actually a safety feature for Gatorbak bunks as well. I've had people tell me, they're like, I am so glad I got these lighted bunks, because backing into a body of water that doesn't have very good lighting, he goes, I have no problem loading up.
We don't make the lights. We use a light from a company called Flashlights in Texas. Through our experience, we partnered with them a couple years ago, and we just had a really good run with them. But the LED portion is an add-on feature to any of our bunks, any of our bunk sizes. So we make 4 colors: gray, white, black, and clear. To get a lighted bunk, you would just choose our clear option. You would route a channel in the top of your bunk board, insert the flexible waterproof LED that we provide from Flashlights, and then what you would do is install the cover like normal, wire in the light to your trailer, and then whenever you have your lights on, or you can put a switch on it, then you have lighted bunks. So when you back down in the water and it's dark or low light, your trailer bunks light up for you.
So you're gonna hook those. I think the brown wires are running lights, isn't it?
That's the most common one, because we're not advocating strobe or pattern lights. If there's lights, most people don't have any problems running them constantly, and you can hook them right into the brown wire, or you can put a simple disconnect or a switch in line with that as well. So you'll have the control you want.
You provide them at what length?
Well, yeah, just like our bunks, we provide our bunks to most people in standard lengths, 5, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16. They do the same thing. They have similar things. And I think most of their lengths go up to 8 to 16 foot, but they do have some lengths that go up to 20 foot in some of the more common colors. That's a special order item, but we do it a little bit more often than I thought we would. We're probably going to be adding those additional links to our website soon.
Gotcha. I am looking forward to getting more acquainted with the use of my Gatorbak bunks, and I appreciate you guys taking the time to get us all clued in on this cool new product.
Now that you've got the Gatorbak bunks, welcome to the Gatorbak family.
Well, I appreciate it. I've already got the Gatorbak sticker on my Yeti cooler, so.
That's great. The koozie that probably came with some of the other things that typically keeps your beverage of choice 4 to 5 degrees cooler than, some of the other can koozies out there. It's
Gotcha.
better.
Well, listen, I am Randy Vance. I'm with Saltwater Sportsman, Sport Fishing and Boating Magazine. I'm with the guys at Gatorbak. If you're looking at upgrading your trailer, and you should be once you watch this video, take a look at the website, which Damon's going to give you right now.
It is www.gatorbak.com, and Gatorbak is spelled with just a K. Gatorbak.com.
All right, guys, thanks a lot. I'm Randy Vance, and we're signing off.